Over the last 3 years alone, I've spent well over $256,000 to date on outsourced video editors, and we've placed over 100 video editors with clients. So if you're looking to hire the perfect video editor to help you repurpose and create content on autopilot to grow your business, stick around because I'm going to show you exactly what you need to know about hiring a video editor to manage your entire social media. And I'm going to show you how you can do it for less than the cost of a single full-time hire. And no, this is not going to require you to spend hours sorting through Fiverr or Upwork. And in fact, none of that $256,000 has gone to either platform. But before we dive in, let's address some critical stuff first, right? You don't just wake up one day and hire a video editor. So how do you know when it's time? You want to make sure that you have a clear strategy and direction for your content. And not just a strategy for what you're creating, but a strategy to be consistent with creating your content. If you're expecting to hire an editor and have them sort this all out for you, you'll be very disappointed. And you should have actual footage filmed and ready for editing, or at least in the works. The last thing you want to do is to hire an editor expecting them to be your saving grace and to create magical reels and TikToks from a jumbled folder of home videos and clips. You also don't want to begin paying them and then have no work for them to do. For the process I'm going to show you here, I'd also recommend that you're comfortable with, at bare minimum, $500 per month in spend. Okay, so you're at that point and you're ready to hire. Where do you start? First off, let me start by saying I'm not a fan of hiring freelancers or part-time contractors. Anybody I hire, I make sure that they can commit to full time. The reason being is that without that, there's really no dedication to get the work done, to improve, to get better, to learn about our brand and our work, or to get it right. Now, you also risk them disappearing on you or deadlines taking longer. Now, what I'm sharing in this video is coming from my direct experience and from doing this in massive numbers, so it's just what I've seen to have the highest rate of success. I also have seen some things shift, and I've changed my mind over some of these things or some of these rules that I used to have over the years. And we're constantly adjusting our process. That to say, this doesn't mean to take what I'm saying here as gospel, because at the end of the day, there are exceptions to every rule and your experience could be different. So again, this is just what has worked best for me and my clients. Now, the other reason I want someone fully dedicated is with a full-time editor and my systems that I'm going to give them, I can have them do more than just edit videos. And by more, I mean I can have them manage my entire social media. I can have them write captions, I can have them post, I can have them repurpose content for me, I can have them do the whole 9 yards. But that's only because we have a system that allows them to do this with only about 15% of their time spent on this other stuff and 85% of their time spent on what they like to do, edit videos. Now, that system is out of the scope of this video, but it's exactly what we do here at Upper Hand. So if you're interested in getting a fully vetted, trained, and guaranteed for life professional editor installed in your business, I'm sure there's going to be a link here somewhere for that. All right, so what options do you have and where can we find this person? You could go through your typical job boards or networks to find a professional editor in the US that has experience. Now, the problem there is, one, you risk relying too much on that individual's perceived expertise and not your own systems, which means that if they leave, you're screwed. And number two, they're expensive. So be prepared if you go that route to spend $200 to $500 an hour. And if your main goal is to create content to grow your business, this probably just doesn't make sense from an ROI standpoint. This is why I love geographic arbitrage for something like this. Now, this is the idea that a stronger currency, like the US dollar, well, barely the case at the time of this video, but you get the idea, that stronger currency goes a lot further in other countries. But the recipient in that country maintains the same purchasing power or better in their home country. So this means you pay them a competitive wage, but that wage is much less than what you'd pay here in the States. And at the same time, they are living at the same quality of life that $200 to $500 an hour would provide here in the States. Now, to give more context, in a lot of these countries, the median hourly wage for a job in their local town is about $1 an hour. So I can instantly offer them so much more and a way better opportunity, and it's a win-win. Now, let me be very clear. I am not talking about hiring a VA and telling them to edit your videos. These are still highly skilled video editors who have invested into their craft and they take it seriously. Hiring a VA and hoping to train them on video editing can work in the long term, but it's gonna take a lot of work from you, and truthfully, the cost difference just doesn't justify that time in my mind. So if they say that they know CapCut or Canva and that's what they use, but not Adobe, run the other direction. You wanna verify that they are masters of things like Adobe Premiere Pro, and as a bonus, even better if they know something like After Effects. Now, they might still use CapCut for some things, but if that's all they know how to do, they're not the person you need. All right, so where do you find these people? Now, for the reasons I mentioned earlier, this is why I'm not a big fan of Fiverr or really even Upwork for this position. On Fiverr, it's all about volume, often at the sacrifice of quality. Sure, it seems cheap, but the second that you ask for revisions, you're charged again, and it doesn't come back correctly anyways. On Fiverr, most are there to make a quick buck, which means they need to do as many projects as possible, which means you are one of many, and good luck trying to enforce your deadlines. On Upwork, you might have slightly better luck, but it is going to be more expensive in most cases in the methods I'm about to show you here. And I also find it to be much more unreliable. It's still the gig economy, and people will ghost you or move on to another project without much skin in the game with you. So the two places that I've found the best people, aside from internal referrals from other team members, have been LinkedIn job ads and a site called onlinejobs.ph. Now with LinkedIn jobs, you can pick what geographic region you want to run your ads in. You can put a daily spend behind it or choose to list it for free even. Onlinejobs.ph is one of the most popular job boards in the Philippines, which means it's more secure and has better vetting. It does have a monthly fee, but it's month to month, and you can cancel it as soon as you're done hiring. I'll have a link for that down below. And then finally, another great option is Facebook groups. All right, now that we've established where to find potential candidates, let's dive into some common misconceptions and pitfalls that you might encounter during the actual hiring process itself. Now, these are the mistakes that I see so often when people are looking to hire a video editor. So for one, people often think they need a highly expensive rock star editor to do this all correctly. Now, a lot of times people will come to me telling me they've already tried this in the past. They had an editor and the editor kept asking them for direction, or they would have to go through themselves and pull out the timestamps they wanted to be cut for the editor. And they chalk this up to not having the right editor. And while that is sometimes true, more often than not, they just lacked the right workflow and processes. It's not about finding the most experienced or skilled person, but it's about finding someone who's dedicated, who's hungry to learn, and who's passionate about what they do. Having a person with the right attitude and giving them the right system means you won't have to micromanage, and correct, you don't have to pull timestamps or give direction. But so many people I've talked to think they should just be able to hand over a ton of footage to a guy on Upwork and get back a year's worth of reels like magic. To this point, another common mistake is hiring based solely on a portfolio, experience, or resume. While these can certainly be important factors, they shouldn't be your primary focus during the initial stages of hiring. We actually only look at these during the final stage of hiring process, if we ever even do look at them at all. Third, I often hear concerns that this editor won't understand my industry, or that people think they need someone with specific knowledge on their offer. While this obviously could be helpful, it's definitely not required. Instead, make sure you have a system in place and proper company onboarding to quickly bring them up to speed. So again, if you're thinking that you can just offload a bunch of files to an editor and they should be able to figure it out on their own, no matter who you hire, you need to have an A to Z process to get someone in line with your culture, your industry specifics, and what's in your head. If you're working with a dedicated full-time editor, they'll be invested in learning about your business and your vision. On the other hand, a freelancer might see you as just another client and probably isn't willing to do this. Again, exceptions to every rule, but this is just how the trends lean. Lastly, it's a big mistake to assume that your new editor will be able to read your mind and create magic without any guidance from you. Yes, they're skilled professionals, but they need a clear understanding of your vision to bring it to life in their edits. This all comes back to, you guessed it, having good systems, both during the hiring process and once they come on board. Which brings me to the final step, the actual hiring process itself. First off, it's important to understand that the hiring, like so many things in life, is a numbers game. You need a healthy volume of applicants, and you also need a process that doesn't require you manually weeding through them. This initial process needs to screen for technical ability to do the job, but more importantly, to truly test the other important factors that a resume just isn't going to show you, right? So these are the things like like communication, responsiveness, ability to follow directions, and integrity. Do they follow through on what they say they're gonna do? And the key here is that all of this needs to happen before you ever review a single cover letter, a portfolio on Upwork, a proposal, or have an initial screening or interview with that person. This way, you can easily screen 50 to 100 plus applicants without spending your entire week on it. And that's really the minimum of what I'd recommend to make sure that you're getting a quality applicant. So what you want to do is create 3 things. Number 1, your job post or job description, an initial application form that is more basic in nature, and a test project with a form to submit it. The job post is what's going to get posted on LinkedIn Jobs or Online Jobs or a Facebook group. A job application should push them directly to a form of some kind to fill out. Now, that main form on our end is actually embeddable on a funnel page that has a video explaining the job and who we're looking for as well. The initial screening form itself is relatively short and just asks basic questions like, are you looking for a full-time position? And tell us why we should hire you. If they say anything other than yes to the full-time question, they're immediately disqualified. If they say yes, they get an automatic email letting them know they've moved on to the next steps, and that next step is to complete the test project. If you're using LinkedIn, you can push them straight to the application, meaning you can say, apply here from the job post and put the link in there. This is why LinkedIn is my preferred platform, because once I post that job post, I literally don't have to do anything other than look at the test projects that are submitted. There's no replying to hundreds of emails, no sorting through cover letters, none of that. But with Online Jobs or anywhere else where you can't post links in the job post itself, what I do is I put a secret phrase or subject line at the bottom of the job post. So I say something like, if you're interested, reply to this email and use the code word chicken, or reply to this post using subject line, you're so cool. This way, I automatically delete every single response that did not follow this direction to a T, and then I manually respond to the ones that did with the link sending them the application. For Facebook groups, it just depends on if the admin is gonna let you post links or not. When it comes to the test project, for us, it's usually creating a reel from a longer form video, which is ideal if you're looking for someone to handle your social and that can independently repurpose your content for you. You'll be able to see who understands social media and who is able to pull clips with the right context. But whatever you choose for the actual task, it should be designed to show not just their technical skills, but also their aptitude and soft skills. And the way we do this is by putting a direction in the email that shows me that they can follow directions. So at the end of the test project email, I'll usually say to reply to this email and tell me when you'll have the test project done. I don't set a deadline for them because this allows me to see right off the bat that A, they can follow directions, because if they don't reply to the email, but they just complete the test project, I delete them right away. That's a big red flag that you'll have to repeat yourself. And the whole point here is to save you time, not add more to your plate. It also shows me integrity. If they say they will have it in 3 days, but I get it in 6 days with no reasonable explanation of why, I delete them. And of course, it allows you to see their sense of urgency and typical turnaround time. Now, the point here is no matter how good their work is, be ruthless with the little things. You want someone who pays attention to detail and follows through. After the project submissions, shortlist your top candidates based solely on the delivery of their test project and set up a Zoom call. So to recap, you've not spent a single second looking at resumes, cover letters, or portfolios. You actually haven't done anything except for manually send the test project link to online job applicants. Then you review the test projects you get in submission and you sort out the ones you like. And then you schedule a group Zoom call, not one-on-ones. And on that call, you want to look for factors such as good Wi-Fi, how they show up and present themselves, and whether they're engaged and bright and interested in the conversation. Do they seem like they'll fit your company culture? Are they someone that you would like to be around, right? These factors are crucial for long-term collaboration. So once you're happy with your choice, it's time to make the offer and bring them on board. But remember, the work doesn't stop here. Proper onboarding and clear communication are crucial to setting your new editor up for success. And there you have it, a straightforward, efficient process to hire a video editor who's not just talented, but will truly become a valuable part of your team. Now don't forget, this process may take some time, but the result, a dedicated, skillful video editor who can manage your entire social media, is absolutely worth it. So best of luck on your hiring journey, and comment down below and let me know how it goes.